outside of Buffalo. He sent me some special coffee, so I put it on. I put it on. I said, "Let me try it out. It's pretty good."
How's it going there, Coach?
Good. How's the chickens?
Excellent.
The chickens are good.
How the chickens doing? All right, the chickens doing okay.
Eggs out of the coop today. We haven't checked them in a day or two.
You know, I got some eggs. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How many are you expecting?
We usually get 3 or 4 a day.
Oh, 3 or 4 a day. Oh, that's all you need.
Exactly.
That's all you need. I know she's doing a lot of bacon. But hey, I'm glad that we can do this. It's my honor that you guys have me on.
Thank you so much for coming on late like this. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's Friday. You know how people are. And plus, it's like 8:30 out there.
It's perfect.
Or is it 8:30 or is it 9:30 out there?
8:30.
It's 8:30. So, oh boy, you guys have to get up real early. But we got a nice day here. It's nice and sunny. Down here outside of Atlanta. So I think it's going to be like close to 70 degrees today. So that's going to be nice. Nice to get out and walk around a little bit.
So we usually start at 8:32 just to allow people.
8:32. Yeah, Larry Bev said something. You guys are like I guess like the TV, like for the football games. They never start. They always go 2 minutes after the hour or a half hour. You know. Basically, get all the advertisers on. Yeah, they get. It's supposed to be 7:30 start is 7:32. It's supposed to be 1 o'clock is 1:05. So we're out there 1 o'clock waiting. Oh no, you guys got another 5 minutes. TV.
We have to allow for all of our sponsors to have their station break.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Look like they're joining bit by bit here.
So last night I was at dinner with Mary Beth, and I said, "Man, can we get Coach to talk soon?" And she's, Mary Beth. She says, "I'll call." She's like, "I'll call him right now." I'm like, "It's past midnight over there."
That's how she works. That's how. Hey, she goes and gets it. She goes and gets it right now. Don't wait, which is good. I was still up. I was watching TV, and we got a pet rabbit, so he was jumped up on the couch with me because Kathleen and my daughter they weren't home, so the rabbit he wanted a little bit of love, so I had to go pet the little rabbit. He sat up there with me. So
very cool. Well,
we're just chilling.
I'm grateful you picked up, and I'm grateful you said yes.
No problem. Anytime.
Careful, because you might be on here every week then, because I love football.
Oh, that's okay. That'll give me something to look forward to. That's no problem.
All right. So I have a video I'm gonna show to introduce you.
Let me get that video from Peter. Where'd you get the video?
YouTube.
Oh, okay. YouTube. Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
This one. Have you seen this one?
Let it roll. Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Okay. Probably doesn't do it justice, but let's.
No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
All right, let's do this.
Ted Cottrell, linebackers.
Pennsylvania native Ted Cottrell's football journey began at tiny Delaware Valley College, where he starred as a linebacker. He was picked by the Falcons in the 7th round of the 1970 draft and lasted 2 seasons in Atlanta and another in Canada before retiring as a player. Catrell began his coaching career at Rutgers, where in 7 years he began as the defensive line coach and worked his way up to defensive coordinator. That led to a 2-year run coaching linebackers for the Chiefs, his first NFL job, followed by a 4-season stint manning the Bills' defensive linemen. It was in Buffalo that he was a future Hall of Famer, and next up a 5-year stretch in the desert, coaching Arizona defenders before returning to Buffalo and his first NFL coordinator job, overseeing the Bills' defense for 3 seasons two of them playoff teams. By this time, Catrell had developed a reputation as one of the finest defensive minds in the game and spent the next decade running defenses for 3 years in Minnesota, 2 for the Jets, and 2 more for the Chargers. In 2009, 2 big moments for Catrell. He was asked by Bruce Smith to be his presenter at Smith's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And Catrell got his first head coaching job, hired by the New York Sentinels of the UFL. These days, Catrell lives in the Atlanta area with his family and now brings his lifetime of football experience to FBU.
Is that okay?
That was okay, Peter. Yeah.
So, again, thank you for joining us. Let me stop this.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the coolest thing I ever witnessed watching you coach was in 2007. I was at that Charger game where you guys intercepted Peyton Manning 6 times.
Oh, you're at that game? Oh,
that
yeah.
That Cromartie catch where he one-handed
on the sideline. Yeah.
That was epic.
Yes.
And you're the man. I mean, that was your show. That was so cool.
Yeah, that was quite a game. I had success against Peyton.
You crushed that guy. That's more than you crushed that guy.
You know, you had to kind of study him a little bit. Well, not a little bit, quite a bit. And after his, we had a game when I was in Buffalo. I think it was his rookie year. They beat us on the last second. No, it wasn't last second. It was like 5 minutes ago in the game. They had a big pass on us that we knew was coming. We had set it up, and our free safety, Kurt Schultz, he misplayed it, and he held his position too long, so he didn't get over. It was a pass up the sideline, and so it went for about 45 yards, touchdown. So Kurt, he comes out the game, he's on the sideline, and he's just shaking his head. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Coach. I'm sorry. I messed up. I said, hey, Kurt, that's okay, man. We'll get him the next time. Come on, don't worry about it. We got a lot of football to play the rest of the season. Well, anyway, after the game, Peyton had a press conference, and he said, now they just barely beat us. Now he was halfway, he's full of himself, and he said, well, we knew what they were doing. I had them down. I knew exactly what they were doing. I know he did not because if Curry would have done what he's supposed to, it would have been pickoff, just like what we had in that Sunday night game. And so we read it in the paper. The Buffalo News had it, Sports News had it. So I said, okay, well, we'll see what happens the next few times that we played them, because they were in our division. Well, after that, he really struggled against us because I came up with a system. I kind of figured out what he was trying to do. And so we had a lot of success against him. And he knew it too, because before the game, I was always come out on the field late. And he would kind of like look over to see me. And I would just wave to him like, okay, we're getting it on now. We're getting it on. I'll see you after the game. All right. So we did this for years and had a lot of success against him. And then, for example, that one game you saw, we had 6 picks. And then the next game was a playoff game. We had 2 more. We had a third one that was called back for a bogus foul. So I always tell people we had 8 interceptions in 2 games, and we had 1 more that the referees took away from us. So that being said, at the Pro Bowl, one of the years I was coaching the Pro Bowl, and Peyton happened to run into my youngest son and daughter. And he said, let me just tell you something. I really have a hard time against your dad. I really appreciate how he coaches against me. And it's always a struggle. Well, so I thought that was not, and of course the kids, they couldn't wait to tell me. They come running, Dad, we ran into Peyton. He's such a nice guy. And then he said this about you. I go, oh, okay. Relax. Well, he was telling the truth. So, and that was the only time that he ever been shut out was I was with the Jets playoff game, We beat them 41-0. And that was the only time he had ever been shut out in high school, college, or pro. And so, matter of fact, I got that ball sitting up on the shelf here. And what they had done, the Jets, not the Colts had done, their PR guy realized that he had never been shut out. And so they put him back. They had taken him out of the game because we were up. And our players kept yelling at me, "Hey, Coach Ted, man, we want that Goose." I'm like, "Goose? What are you talking about? Goose?" I was so glad we were winning the game, right? In this playoff game. So they said, "No, we want the shutout." I go, "Shut up." "Yeah, we shutting them out, Coach." I go, "Yeah, you know something? Yeah, we are, aren't we?" And so they had taken Peyton out. Then they put him back in with a little over 2 minutes to go. And they had gotten the ball, right? The Colts had gotten the ball. And they put him back in. And then I go, after the game, and then he throws a pass, and one of our linebackers picks it off. They're driving, he picks the ball off. And of course, now we run the clock out. They were trying to just get him in position to kick a needless field goal so he would not be tagged with the shutout. And I asked him after the game why they put him in there. He told me why. He said, "Well, the PR guy said I'd never been shut out, so we were just trying to get 3 points, get points any way we could." I went, wow. So after the game was a big deal, and we celebrated with the family quite a bit, and players went crazy after the game, So that was a big moment, and in the Sunday night game, it was just another one of those where we had some success against a great quarterback and a great individual.
That's incredible. Throughout the year, we've been doing these Zoom calls, and a lot of times I'll talk about how much sports has impacted my life and how I relate everything to football. And when I was a kid, my dad would say to me on game days, "Put your game face on. Wake up, put your game face on." I'm sure you know what that means.
Oh yeah, I know what that means.
Other words that stick out, and it applies to business, and applies to life. Your mindset, work ethic, discipline, perseverance, all those words, right? And so I'm hoping to draw as much of that in this hour that we have out of you. I want to hear all of it. So much I want to talk about with you. It's like an hour's not enough time. So before we get started, I want to show one more video. Is that cool? Okay.
Yeah. What is it now? I got to prove this thing. And we got. No, go ahead, Peter. I'm just teasing.
It's an interview with Bruce Smith. And really, he says some really nice things about you, so you'll like it.
Okay.
This one. Do you remember this one?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Obviously, with that bond that develops, what do you think it was about Ted Cottrell specifically as a coach that was so instrumental in you guys developing that trust and respect early on in your career?
Well, I can see the joy on his face and the in his voice. I can see the pleasure of him knowing that what he passed on to me, I took it and I put the work in to become the player that I am today. That's what this maturation process is all about. That's what this journey is about. If you pass on valuable information to someone and they do nothing with it, shame on them. You've done your job. But if you pass on those nuggets and that valuable information, that a person receives it and applies it to his day-to-day routine, which is his job, that's when you know something special is in the making. And once again, when I put all those pieces together, strength and conditioning, the film study, along with my God-given athletic ability and the work ethic, when you put all those pieces together, that's when It doesn't guarantee that you're going to be great, but it increases your chance of being great. And that's what happened here. And I'm, again, very thankful. And God didn't make mistakes. That's why he placed Ted Cottrell, along with my teammates and Marv Levy in my life.
So Bruce Smith, one of the greatest football players to ever step on the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just, I think it was really cool. He said a lot with that. He talked about work ethic. He talked about greatness. He talked about adding value. All things I think you helped instill in him. Can you maybe share with us what you think the difference is? Because I know there are a lot of guys in the NFL or in life that, or even on this call, that everyone has the same amount of talent, but one guy's going to go to the Hall of Fame. One guy's not going to make the team with the same talent. Just like on this call, we have a lot of 244 people. Probably everyone's equally as smart as each other, but someone's going to sell 200 houses and someone's not going to sell anything. What differentiates those people from a Bruce Smith to a Ryan Leaf, let's say?
Well, when I first met, when I got the job in Buffalo and I met Bruce, I was kind of hesitant about really taking the job back in 1986. I heard some things about the city of Buffalo that weren't really positive. I heard some things about the team that weren't really positive. But I was I needed a job. And so I went there with the idea I might just stay a year or so. I wasn't going to stay long. Just get back into the National Football League. I've been coaching with the New Jersey Generals of the United States Football League with Herschel Walker and Kent Hall, who later became a Buffalo Bill Hall of Famer at center. And I was instrumental in getting Kent to come up to Buffalo. And so I took the job. And then I was really supposed to coach linebackers in that first year. And then the head coach, whose name was Hank Bull at that time, I think he just did that. He knew what he was going to do with me. So he told me, well, I got a job. And I said, is coaching linebackers? He said, no, it's coaching D-line. And I went, well, I want to coach linebackers. And he goes, well, do you want a job or not? And I said, well, I'll take it. So I go up and I meet Bruce. Along with Bruce, there's Fred Smerlis and a couple other guys. And you have to really know these personalities to understand what's going on here. Bruce was the number one draft pick in the whole draft. That present head coach did not even start him his rookie year. Bruce was a backup player. And he told me, the head coach told me, well, we got this guy, but he thinks he's this, he thinks he's that. And I don't know if he ever amount to anything. And I said, well, who is this? And he goes, I didn't know much about the team. He says, Bruce Smith. So I said, okay. Then he said, then I got this other guy, Fred Smerlis. He thinks he's this, he thinks he's that, but I don't like him. And I'm going to try to get rid of him. I went, oh, man, God, this is after I signed my contract now. I went, what in the hell am I getting myself into up here? And so, lo and behold, my dad had always told me, I live this to this day, and I've told this to my kids. You treat people and you respect people the way you want to be respected. Get to know them first before you say anything about them or pass any judgment on them. So I did that, and I got to Buffalo. And believe it or not, there was another guy there that the head coach did not like. And it said he was stupid, he's never going to be anything. And that was Darryl Talley. And I went, oh my goodness. And so I got to know Bruce and start working with him and Fred. And also Darryl. I would listen to Darryl, and we were on the sidelines, we were, back of the huddles, and Darryl was not even starting, believe it or not. He's a great player. And he would sit there and he would call out all his when he heard the defense, he would call his assignment out. He would call out the offense, what they're doing, what he's expecting. Now he's talking to himself. Now I'm standing beside him a couple of times. So I started hearing this stuff. I said, this guy's not dumb. And I said, man, Frankie's got a hell of a football mind about him. And so that I brought that up to the head coach in the meeting. He goes, well, no. And then he said, okay. And I said, well, why don't we move him from the left side linebacker to the right side linebacker? And that put Darryl away from the back then. He had most of the tight ends teams on offense. Well, they're going to run the ball to their right or left, and he wasn't handling the block of the tight end real well because he had not been taught that. But when he moved over to the right side, that's where Bruce also was playing. Bruce was finally starting to do a little bit. So I guess the head coach had some pressure to really make this guy go. We started working with Bruce, and then lo and behold, we started clicking because then he knew that the things that I was telling him, they were pretty good. And he knew they were truthful. He could trust them. And I would talk to him about just knowing the overall game, what the defense is, what the linebackers are responsible for behind you and behind them, the coverage. You need to know the coverage because this is going to tell you how to approach the quarterback, what might be the run and pass. You have to know these things. So you have to increase your overall knowledge of the game. So we just kept working this way. Lo and behold, he and I clicked. And I told him, after watching him get going in his rookie year, his second year, and I said, you're not going to only start here, but you could probably make all AFC, all East. If you're lucky, you can get to a Pro Bowl. And I said, you have enough talent too. If you really put in the work to get into the Hall of Fame, you are very unusual. God has blessed you. And this is his going to his second year. And he goes, you really? I said, yes. I said, man, people like you, God didn't make a lot of people like you, Bruce. You 6'4". At that time, he was over 300 pounds, and he ran like a 4.6 40, which is unbelievable. Now he could only do it one time because he wasn't in shape to do it back to back, but he could do it one time. And because he had a race against a linebacker in our mini camp, they couldn't have any kind of matchups or duels or whatever. They gonna try to race each other. They couldn't do that during the season because you pull a muscle or a hamstring, you're in trouble, or groin. But during our my first mini camp, he raced his linebacker. And then, guys, those guys are putting a lot of money out there. These pro athletes, they're under the table. They're betting. Oh man, Bruce is gonna smoke. No, Bruce, that big dude, that big fat dude can't run that like that. No, he's gonna smoke it. So they did it after practice, and I sit there and I watch this thing. Well, when they started the race, I looked up. Bruce jumped out on this dude so quick, had a lead after 20 yards, and just smoked this dude. And this dude was a pretty good linebacker. He ran a 4.5. Well, if he ran a 4.5, Bruce ran a 4.49 or 4.45. He smoked this guy. He beat him about 3-4 yards in a 40, which is quite a bit of distance, especially he was 300. I think it was exactly 303 pounds at that time. So I went, oh my goodness, this is something special here. And what it was, like I said, the race at the 20 was over, which means he has a tremendous start. And that made Bruce so unique in that his first few steps, God blessed him. That, man, that big and Fez can move that quickly in a short amount of distance. Which now, your defensive lineman, your distance, you're not running 40 yards, your distance is in 10 yards. How quick you can get off the mark and how quickly you can do your job within 10-yard frame, 10-yard window. So he has that. So he goes on and starts applying. We start working, and he blossoms into quite a football player. And he told me, so he and I now, we have really clicked. And it's become more than a coach-player relationship. Now it's like father-son. You know, a lot of things he just start relating to me. And anytime he would have some questions about anything, he would come to me and they go, "Ted, can I talk to you?" And so if we go up to my office or we go somewhere privately and just sit down and talk. And so now we're building up this type of relationship, which is very special. A lot of coaches don't have that, and people don't have that type of relationship with somebody that good. But I think the thing that really, really clicked between he and I was like I mentioned before, our respect for each other. He knew I was there to help him. He knew I was there to get the best out of him. And I was going to stay on him in a way that made him do those things that God had blessed him to do, because he was a very unique individual. And which is what I tell our players now. I said, you know, we all have talent. Some guys are bigger than others. They are stronger than the others. But we all have something that we can do. God has blessed you. You're special. He's given you some type of talent. We all have some type of talent. You know, and in the normal world, like my wife, Kathleen, she can do a lot of things. She's a great artist, and she hasn't had any formal training. She draws these things right off the top of her mind. I don't know how the heck do you do that, but she does that, right? Some people can go out and they can just do things and get it going. But some people can draw. Some people they can speak better than others. Some people can build things from scratch, mechanics. Had that type of mind that they can. I had a brother who just listened to an automobile engine and tell you what was wrong with him. And I could listen to it and say, "Hey, I know the damn thing is running," but that's about it. But he could tell you exactly what might be wrong with your engine. That was very unique. So we all have something that we can do. And I've heard this, and I tell this to my players. I heard this story, and I wish I had come across this during my playing career. I was reading it. I think it was in one of those Reader Digest things, and Irma Bombeck had written it. And so she was telling a story about these three guys. They're going to heaven, and they're trying to convince our Heavenly Father why they are worthy to come in. So one of the guys is a architect, and one of the other guys is a painter, and another guy is a builder. So they all start talking about some of the things they designed. The architect told about he designed, the builder told what he did. And the other guy talking about what he did. He said, I'm gonna present this and just tell him what I did. That architect said, "Hey, I designed this building and it's still there and it's great." And the other guy said, "Well, I did this and it's great, Heavenly Father." And so then they asked this one fellow who's was a poet, and actually Irma was saying that she relates this to herself, was a poet, and said and a writer, and said that, "Heavenly Father, I really don't have anything to give to you. And the reason I don't have anything to give to you," she said, that talent, ability that you gave me to write this poetry and write these stories, I used them all. I used it all up. I used it all up. I don't have anything left to give you. I used it all up, Heavenly Father. So please accept me." And I tell my players this. That's a lesson for you. You have the talent. You have the ability. You've been blessed with. Use it all up. Don't leave it out there. You have something to give. Use it all up. And so that was quite a story. And I still tell that to some of my players when they need to be brought in line, and to this day. And I thought that was a great example of how you should conduct yourself, how you should go about things in your life, how you should use your abilities and talents that you've been blessed with.
So would you say that to achieve a level of greatness, you have to have what's the formula? Is it work ethic? Is it mindset? Is it desire? What is it?
Well, let's say this. Most people, they want to do well. They want to do something right? We all want to do this. We all want to do that. But are you willing to put in the work to achieve that? That's the thing. We all say we want to be like a lot of players say they want to do this. A lot of people and that know say, man, I want to be able to at a certain point in my life retire, so I can live the rest of my life in comfort. Well, are you willing to put in the time and the effort to achieve that? You can say it, but are you willing to do it and do what's necessary to achieve it? For example, a lot of athletes, I'm going to relate to them because that's what I've been doing most of my life, coaching these guys and teaching these guys. They want to say they want to do things, but are you willing to put in the time and the effort? You want to put in the sacrifices? Are you willing? Are you willing to go out and lift weights? And I tell that a lot of my younger players and kids, and I'm talking to kids in junior high school and especially high school and college. Are you willing to go out in the summer when it's scorching hot out, and even if you wait like out in Arizona, you wait till the evening when the sun goes down, but it's still hot, and go do your running, your training, where other people are sitting in their air conditioning, they're taking it easy. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to get up in the morning and go lift weights? Not once or twice, at least 3 times a week for an extended period of time to get yourself stronger, to get your body stronger so you can play the game fast and your chances of an injury are going down. Are you willing to put in the time to learn your playbook, the defenses, the offenses that the coaches have given to you, learn the game? Are you willing to put in that type of time and effort? If you're not, don't play this game. Don't even try it. Don't even talk about it because you're not going to be successful. So you have to be put in the time and the effort and just, let's not say it, but you have to put in the time and the effort. Saying it won't achieve it. You have to do it also.
Amen. I mean, that's true in life. That's true in business. It's like, are you willing to do it? Are you willing to put in the work?
And here's the other thing you need to do. You can't be worried about the time clock. You get the job done. You know, you get yourself organized. Don't worry about the clock. Such I gotta go home. Let me just tell you something. I don't know if my wife is on the call right now or not. But I'm going to tell you.
I see her.
She is? Okay. There are times when I was averaging, because here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to really be great at this coaching thing. I really did. I had some, and we can really get into this a little bit later too, if we want to get into some of these things. I really I had set my goals as what I wanted to do. All right. And so I said, I'm going to do what's necessary the right way. You know, build my resume, put my time in, make sure that I know this game inside and out, upside and down. So that required me being away from home quite a bit. I missed a lot of my kids growing up, you know, their PTA meetings, the the things they were doing at school, because between Sunday night and Thursday, they wouldn't even see me because I was working late at night, then getting up early in the morning before they even got up and back at work. So they would not see me. The only time they would see me would be Friday. We had a home game, they would see me Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We had a away game, they would see me Friday and Saturday. And on Sunday, they would see me on TV. So a lot of that upbringing was on my wife. So she knew what I wanted. She knew what I was trying to do. But I also said the times that we did spend with them, like on Fridays and after the home games on Sundays, were very special. Mary Beth can tell you that those are special times where we spent time. We would take them every time after a game. We went to dinner somewhere, so we can have some time with them and just talk down that, because then that was my time with my family. So I had to have a very understanding wife that went along, and she knew what I was trying to do, and it helped me along on this journey. So that combination proved to be very beneficial, because I knew things at home were being taken care of. I didn't have to worry too much. And so I just had to take care of what I had to do on my job and have that type of relationship with your partner, that they were pulling this wagon on this trail together. So that's very important, and you had that type of understanding. She knew what I was trying to do, and so she was there to help me along. So I thought that was a heck of a thing for me to have. I really appreciate the time that she put in helping me. So I think if you had that type of atmosphere at your in just getting along at your, that's why I said at your home, that really helps things, because you go into something, there's not a lot of squabbling and back, just yelling and screaming. You're never home. I don't see you. Well, she knew where I was, and she knew I was working my butt off.
You were probably working your butt off obsessively. You were obsessed with being successful, right?
Yeah, well, I was trying, like I said, trying to do the things right. And that's maybe, let's look at it this way. I think Bruce has said too, are you willing to put in the work? And like I said, are you willing to put in the work to be successful? Don't say you want to be a good coach. You don't put in the work to be a good coach. Just like you're being a good doctor, being a good lawyer, being good at anything that you're doing, you have to put in the work so you get the experience. You know things inside and out. Like I said before, upside and down. If there's a problem that comes up, you know how to make the adjustment. You know how to solve the problem. Don't wait for tomorrow or 2 days from now and say, oh, we'll think about it. No, you need to make a quick decision right now. A great surgeon can't say, well, I'll just sew this up and we'll come back to it tomorrow. No, they got to make the decision right now, this split second, because somebody's life is dependent on it. And during a football game, you have to, for example, the players, they want to know right now how we can stop this team from doing what they're doing. In the business world, if we have a problem and we have an issue, we got to get this problem solved right now, because if we don't, the longer we delay it, the more it's going to cost us money, the more it's going to cost us some problems. So you have to have that knowledge. You have to have that quick decision-making ability to make the correct decisions. The only way you know how to make the correct decisions is that you know what the hell you're doing, you know your job inside and out and upside and down.
Amen. Mic drop on that. So can you talk to us about perseverance as a player, as a coach, life, ups and downs, and getting pushed down and having to get back up? I'm sure you've seen a lot of that.
Well, I've seen a lot of that. I experienced a lot of that. Just continue. You'll have obstacles that get in your way all the time. I sent Mary Beth, and I don't know if she got it. It was an article that was written in my hometown paper.
Actually, Coach Ted, I posted it for everybody on our Coldwell Banker private site. So
Okay.
everyone can read that article about diversity and what you have gone through
Okay.
and paving the way.
Yeah, it
Fritz
was.
Pollard Alliance.
Yes, it was. It was the best article ever written by me because the guy he called me up. Bob Rocks was his name. He's from my hometown paper, and he had been following me. Every time we played the Eagles, he would show up and ask me a few questions after the game, even if the Eagles beat us or we beat the Eagles. And so he called me it was last year, and asked me he wanted to do an article because what he had seen, the Fritz Pollard Alliance, they did a special on ESPN about Fritz Pollard, who was the first black head coach in the National Football League at that time. That's what it was. And this was back in the 1920s, 1930s, but then it was kind of pushed up under the rug. And what had happened, I'm going to fast forward this. We're at a meeting in Indianapolis in 2002, I believe it was. And they had, there were some questions and some concern about the minority hiring that was going on and the lack of it that was going on in the National Football League. So they called this meeting, and they expected a few guys to just show up, because that's how they do things at these combines, because guys got so many other things to do. Well, lo and behold, just about every coach, black coach and scout, just about that could be there were at this meeting. Matter of fact, they had standing room only. They didn't have enough chairs. And they started talking about this lack of progress in the housing, not the housing and hiring of coaches and black coaches and head coaching positions. And they said, if word gets out, because they wanted to bring this concern to the commissioner at that time. And, there was some concern before, but now it had gotten to a point where we said, we got to do something. We got to stand. And they said, guys, if this happens, a lot of heads may roll. If they find out that we're in this and you're in, like my mother would say, you put your John Hancock on it. My mom would say, you put your John Hancock on it, which means you're signing on to it. But Terry Brisky stood up, and I stood up. And he said, if head's going to roll, Terry said, let my head roll. I said, if head's going to roll, let my head roll too. And a couple of other guys stood up. So we said, we got to do something about this. Well, here we go. Now we're going into this new season, 2020 and 21, when there's not much progress been made on hiring of the head coaches. But there's disappointment. There's disappointment. I had disappointment. I'm going to go back after I finish here for a second, go back and recap what was going on with me. There's disappointment, but you can't be discouraged. You have things that you think should go your way and don't happen that way. So you're disappointed. But don't be discouraged. You just got to keep on, like I said, just keep on trucking, keep on moving. Because if you stop, that's not going to do anything. You just got to keep moving forward, keep trucking, put one foot in front of the other. I went to a small school in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And I went there with the idea of just playing football, get my degree, go to work the rest of my life. I had no idea I was going to either play pro football, let alone coach. And I went to school there. I was 190 pounds, a little bit under 6 foot. If you've seen pictures of me back then, you go, oh my God, he looks like he's 10 years old. And I've seen pictures of me. I look like that. And by the time I graduated at my college, I was 6'1", 250 pounds, and could bench press a little bit over 300 pounds. I had never lifted a weight until I went there. So pro football happened, and I got drafted. It was unbelievable that I got drafted in the 7th round, which is equivalent to nowadays being drafted in the 3rd or 4th round by a school that had 1,200 students. My high school was bigger than my college. But the idea was I was chosen by the Atlanta Falcons. Now I'm sitting in a room with guys from Texas. I'm sitting in a room with guys from University of Minnesota, Texas A&M, Illinois University, Southern Cal. I'm from Delaware Valley College, 1,200 students. And I say, well, we're all here. I don't care where you went to school, where you're from, we're all here right now. So I'm going to try to make this team. And we had 14 guys in this room that I was sitting in, linebackers, trying to make the team. Now they're only going to keep 6, 5 active, 1 on reserve. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, oh, well, okay, I'm going to give it my best shot. Well, one of the things that happened, and this is why you know what the heck you're doing. You learn your profession. You know everything you're supposed to know about what you're doing. They gave us a test after our first week of practice, and a defensive coordinator by the name of Marion Campbell at that time. Well, he was our defensive coordinator. He later became the head coach of the Eagles. He gave us this test, and he was like 5 pages, and he had different defenses on them, and he would call. There'd be an offensive play, and then you had to draw what you're supposed to do. Draw up your defense and what you're supposed to do. Well, after they corrected the test and they handed them out, the next meeting that we had, defensive meeting, he said, you veterans on this team, this defensive team should be ashamed of yourselves. And they were looking at each other. He said, I'm so disappointed in you guys. He says, we have a rookie who not only drew up his position, he drew up the entire defense and described what everybody was doing and on every one of these plays that I called. The defensive line, the linebackers, and the secondary. He wrote it down what their responsibilities were. And they were looking around and he goes, Ted Cottrell, stand up. So I stand up and he says, good job. Now here I am from Delaware Valley College, 1,200 students. And all these guys from these big time programs, they had not done what I had done on this exam. So right then, I said, well, the die was cast in that this guy knows a little bit about what he's supposed to be doing. He's not so dumb after all. He might look dumb, but he's not dumb. Well, I go on, I make the team. Now, I tell people, like I mentioned to you before, know what the heck you're doing. So then if they can't use that against you when you're trying to achieve something or move up or get advanced, that, hey, no, you didn't know the answer to this. We asked you this, which was something basic, and you did not even know what the hell you were supposed to do. What I did. And lo and behold, I told the guys after, they said, why'd you do that? I said, well, I'm playing linebacker. Aren't linebackers supposed to do that? We have a defensive line in front of us. We got to know where they are so we don't run into them. We have secondary defensive backs behind us. We have to know where they are. So we we cover the spots that they can't be in. There's a pass. Made sense to me. And I've been calling defenses and making adjustments since my sophomore year in college. And so that just reinforced this thing about, to me, going on that. Know what the heck you're talking about. Know your job inside and out. And so I use that. I use that in when I stopped playing ball, and then I got an opportunity to coach. That's why coaching became easy to me, because along the way now I learned something. You learn something every day. You don't know everything. Like, I'm still learning. The more I watch football, the more I learn. But I had a good head start as far as being a coach was, because I had learned so much as being a player. And the other thing is, how do you get it across? How do you relay this and relay this to the people you're working with and the people who you're trying to help on your team? How you can relate what you know to them, so it help them get better, and also to help you get better. So I thought that really helped me. And the other aspect was that I taught school during the off season. I was a substitute teacher, and I taught math. I was pretty good at math, and I taught math for 3 years. And so that teaching helped me when I became a coach, because I believe that's what we are as coaches. You're teachers. You're trying to give people what's inside of here, inside of your big head, this big head of mine, get it out to people so they can get things done the way you want them to get it done, and help them get better, help things to move better, help us all get better. And so I thought that was a big thing with me, and I taught perseverance. So I go on and I get this job at Rutgers, and I get moved up to a defensive coordinator in 1980. Now we go on to play Alabama, who was still pretty good. Bama, Roll Tide, they are really good, and they were good. But they had a guy coaching them by the name of Bear Bryant. I thought he was a pretty good coach. With his houndstooth hat, everybody knows who the Bear is. Well, we're playing them. Rutgers, we scheduled them. Going into the game, and so we look at the schedule during the spring, and the AD, he presents and said, we're going to play Alabama. And we all look at each other going, what? We're playing who? Alabama, not Alabama State, not Alabama A&M, Alabama University. We're at Rutgers. I'm going, oh my God. Well, the Bear, Coach Bryant, he knew Sonny Werblin, who was the owner of the Jets, and Sonny Werblin was really in charge, very instrumental in building Giant Stadium at the Meadowlands, because he had signed Joe Namath to a big contract when he was, Sonny Werblin was the owner of the Jets. So, and of course, Joe Namath was from Alabama. So now they got this tie-in, Rutgers and Alabama through Sonny Werblin and Bear Bryant. So they schedule Alabama. They come down now. They're coming, matter of fact, they come to the Meadowlands. So Bear is using this. Oh man, that's a good recruiting trip. I get good exposure. I go up there and see Joe, see other people in New York and all this. By the meantime, we're gonna play this football game. We're gonna play Rutgers. Well, going into the game, we were 44-point underdogs. They were the number one team in the country at the time. But I had a plan once they got on the schedule and we were playing them in the fourth game. And they were running this very unusual offense at that time. It's called the Wishbone Offense. A lot of teams did not run it that we played against, so it was be something new. But I convinced our head coach, Frank Burns, who was one of my mentors, to let us just work 20 minutes each week preparing for them. We would call it the BAM phase. We would do it early in the week, so then we could concentrate on the next coming opponent. Well, we did this, and I went and spent some time down at Mississippi State. Mississippi State had a quarterback coach who had played at Alabama and worked on the Bear Bryant. The quarterback coach, and this is how God works. The quarterback coach at Mississippi State, and I spent 1 week down there in Starkville with them. This was before Starkville. I mean, they only had like a couple gas stations and a couple of restaurants. It was really country. So they were glad to see us that week. Me and another one of my staff we went down and spent time for 1 week, like I said before, down with him. Well, the quarterback coach his name was Bruce Arians, who is now the Super Bowl winning head coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Bruce Arians and I go way back to 1980. So I spent time with Bruce, and he's telling us how to defeat what gave this offense trouble. And I had a few questions for myself that I thought could give him. He said, yeah, Ted, that'll work. And work with a couple of their coaches. And I watched them practice how they ran this offense. Well, fast forward, we started working on it. And so we play them and going into the game with 44-point underdogs. They ended up beating us 17-13. 65,000 people at the game. They interrupted the game of the week on Saturday, halfway through, and put our game on. They said this is one of maybe Lumina's one of the biggest upsets ever in college football. We're down to the last 2 minutes. We got the ball. We recovered fumble. We get the ball. We're driving for what's going to be the winning touchdown. We go for it on 4th down. The ball goes right off the fingertips of our best receiver, who's a great receiver. He's doing everything he can to catch this pass, but it's just a little bit overthrown. So we end up losing the game by 4 points instead of 44 points. That game, after the game, Bear Bryant comes into our locker room and addresses our team and tells our players are all upset. You know, they're sitting there, their head down, crying, and he addresses them. And he said, you guys should be proud of yourselves. He said, we won this game. We won the game, but y'all beat us. He said, we were lucky to win this game. Then he said a couple other things. I cannot repeat it. But he said, we won. You beat us. We won the game, but you guys beat us today. And good luck to you the rest of the way.
Wow.
The next week, Alabama plays Mississippi State. Mississippi State beats Alabama with the same game plan they called me up that I had used. And so Bruce Arians and I go way back to that. And so that game thrust me into, that's how I got my first pro coaching job, because the next year I got a job at the Kansas City Chiefs and I stayed in the National Football League for years after that. But here's what I was saying again about knowing your job, trying to do it the best that you can, better than others. And that, by us playing that game the way we did against the number one team in the country, brought quite a bit of attention to the work that I was doing. And that's how I got into the National Football League.
Coach, I have so many more questions, and we only got like 3 more minutes.
Is that all? We got
I'm sitting here. I'm like, I have another question I want to ask you.
Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead. Let's get this thing done.
Okay. So, but I'm going to have Chuck Whitehead, who owns Coldwell Banker just north of San Diego, chime in, because he does a really good job of summing all of our Friday calls up. So, Chuck, where are you?
I'm right here. Coach, awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And, I am such a fan of football, and I'm such a fan of you, and to me, like, I have just been entranced by everything that you've said. But I have to share a couple things that I think we can take away, not just as real estate agents, but as humans that you shared here. And number one, the Bruce Smith video, when he was talking about you and talking about how it's a combination of things, that you taught him. Strength of conditioning. It's studying the game. It's your God-given talent. It's your work ethic. Like, it's a combination of things that you told him, and it's the same thing with anybody out there in the world. And I love that one. Second, I love the poet story, how we have an obligation to leave all of it on the table. You got to sliding into heaven with nothing left. It's kind of basically what you were saying, because you did everything, you gave everything you could. Coach, that was a great piece. And you talked about your experience, and when they were talking about the head coach situation and what the NFL needed to do to make it a little bit more diverse, you said there will be disappointments along the way, and I think this applies to life. But don't get discouraged. Just keep on moving 1 foot at a time. And you've shown with your life and how far you've come as a defensive coordinator, and playing the greatest game on the planet, and on TV with millions and millions of people seeing you doing what you're doing, that obviously that 1 foot in front of the other is huge. And you're just focusing on the big picture, I think, is something else that we forget. Like you said, you guys were doing your practices every week, but on Mondays and Tuesdays, you guys were thinking Bama, but going on with your regular day, but you always knew what you wanted. And that move of looking at that big picture kind of thrust you into the NFL and created you into the guy you are now, and, created the impact that you have on everybody, and all your players have had on everybody. So I just want to say thanks, Peter. Peter, this guy, Mary Beth, you're the bomb, as always. Bringing in Coach Ted. I mean, this is awesome. So I just want to say thanks from our crew, and we all love it, and I can't thank you enough.
I can't take any credit. This is Mary Beth, 100%. Mary Beth, thank you so much. Thank you.
I know you have a quick question. I just want to say thank you from my heart, Coach Ted, and to his beautiful wife, Kathleen, and to the entire Catrell family, who I'm graciously blessed to know. I love you guys, and thanks for doing this for us.
So thank you. So last question.
Yeah, Peter.
So you hear the saying, like, it's not the fight in the dog. It's not the size of the dog in the fights. It's the size of the fight in the dog. Earlier in the year, I talked about having heart, and that's something that I've heard throughout my entire life. I think my dad instilled that in me at a young age. You got to have heart. So when you played Alabama, I'm sure you talked to your team about having heart. I'm sure that had to enter the conversation. Can you kind of expand and let everybody know what that means? Because I think that it's perseverance, that's never giving up, that's all of that together.
Well, it's that heart, that's the soul, that's the thing that's inside of you that gets you going. People can look at you, and but what they can't see is what's inside of you, what is driving you. That when people say they got heart, there's heart. Well, that means you have that never give up spirit. You're gonna fight. You're gonna do whatever you have to do. And you're just gonna keep coming at it. You're just gonna keep going. And say, oh, he got a lot of heart. No. Well, we all have heart. There's a heart. That's heart. That's things beating inside of us. We all have that. But it's what is driving that thing that we can't see, that thing that we cannot measure. What is driving you? We can say how fast you are. We can see how big you are. But we cannot measure that thing that's inside of you, that soul that's inside of you that keeps you going. And that was I always say is so important. If you want to do something, if you want to be really great, well, you keep at it. You just keep going. That's that heart. That's that soul that's inside. Things get tough. Things get down. Okay, that's all right. I'm coming back. I'm not gonna worry. I'm gonna keep coming back. My wife would tell me, we just keep coming back. They might stop us. They might say something, but that doesn't stop us. That doesn't stop me. I've been told before, you can't do this. You can't do that. Give up. What? Why are you even trying? Because this is what I want, and I'm going to keep driving. I'm going to be good at this. I was told at one time by my father to quit football. And I told him, I'm not quitting. This was out in the 10th grade. That was terrible. Couldn't play. He said, you're going to give up. Give up. I said, no, I'm going to be good at this. And within 7 years of him telling me to give up, I'm running down in Franklin Field where the Eagles played, covering the kickoffs for the Atlanta Falcons 7 years later. That's that heart I'm talking about. Yeah, that's that drive I'm talking about. Where everybody else is out doing something else, driving around, going out here, doing whatever they want to do. I'm out there doing the things I got to do to make myself better. And that's what I did. And that's what things that same work ethic, that same heart that we're talking about, that's the thing that drives me to this day. It's going to always drive me. That thing I'm probably getting instilled into my kids. Everybody come and associate with my players. Don't tell me what you're going to do. You show me by with your work and how hard you are dedicated to this, then I'll believe it. And that's what I did.
Thank you. Thank you. I see people clapping. Thank you. Man, I don't want this to end, but we gotta call it. Thank you so much again, Mary Beth. Thank you. Guys, hopefully you guys found inspiration in this one. Go get it. Don't give up.
Thank you,
Keep
Coach.
pushing. Keep coming.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
Thank you.
Let's do this again. We can do this anytime.
You're great, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you.
Careful what you ask for.
Bye, y'all.
No problem.